Hi, beautiful souls. My name is Vanessa, and I'm very happy you are spending a moment with me. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, and let's jump right into it. So, today's topic is what is humanity being asked to do right now? This is a collective message, and there is a lot going on in our world. If you're watching this around the time I'm recording it, Nolan Wells recently passed away. Rest in peace, Nolan. I just recently did my most recent video was a mediumship message with Nolan Wells, beautiful soul. Beautiful, beautiful soul. Shout out to Nolan. He had a huge purpose in this life and his transitioning was not in vain. He came in and left and in a very tragic way, but it is really shaking up the whole entire world. And in order for our world to birth a new world, it has to collapse. Our world has been crumbling. Every single industry has been finicky and not sustainable, basically. And now for this to happen and for there to be this great divide and all of this uproar and people feeling triggered and feeling this need to do something, we are having to ask ourselves, what am I going to do? How can I be a part of the solution? What is the solution? Especially if you're someone who's identified as somebody who always felt like they had a bigger purpose in this life, who's felt like, I know I can make a difference, I know I want to make an impact, or you're just somebody who wants to live for more than just yourself. This question is for you. And a little bit about what's been coming up for me is that we are our ancestors in present tense, whatever your race is. And that comes with, I don't want to say a burden because it comes with blessings too. But it is a lot for us to bear. And like Bob Marley says, he has a song where he talks about, why can't we just be at a place where the color of our eyes don't matter, the color of our skin don't matter. But there's work to do. Work has to be done. And the reality is we're not there yet. But it is our time. It is our time for us to move forward and decide, because whether we want to move forward or not, the shift is happening. So the question really does become, how are you going to do the work that your ancestors left behind? And a lot of us, I don't want to talk too much about color, but those of us who have Black ancestry or have lived in America as Black identifying or come from African, it's really not just America, it's all across the world. If you're Black and your ancestors are Black, you do take on some of that burden and responsibility to make your future generations greater and to keep pushing and to keep striving and to be the best you can be in a world that has been unfair to you. That's just the world we live in. We can't, continue wearing rose colored glasses and pretend that's not what it is. And then to those of us, those people who have white ancestors, there also too comes a responsibility, because some of your ancestors have made a mess. And then it comes up to you to do the work to cleanse it, to heal it, to rebuild. I There's so much I want to say about this, but I'll just leave it at that. Now, intuitively, what I'm getting is it's the time for leaders to rise. It's the time for those of you who truly have felt like you've had a calling, a voice, whether it's through music, whether it's through art, whether it's through organizing, whether it's through rebelling, whether it's through speaking up. There's work to be done for the white folks, the allies, the people that are not cool with racism. There's a big purpose for you. There's a big purpose for you to, some of you, the purpose is to face your own racism, to face your own white fragility, and to move forward and teach others, teach your peers. I remember doing a talk once, and it was an all-white school, and I was asked to do a public speaking presentation because there were two mixed kids and a brother and a sister, and the girl was having a hard time because people were saying she's adopted by her white mom, that can't be her white mom. She was getting heavily picked on. And I recall talking to these kids, and it was very impactful because through talking to them about racism, I was like straight up telling them, look, racism is not cool. It ain't cool. It's not cool anymore. And a lot of times, you, as the younger folks, are meant to teach the older heads, the older generations, your older family members. And a lot of them don't want to learn, they're stuck in their ways. But you, who has future ahead of you, you who has a pivotal opportunity to make a change, because there's generations that will come after you, a lot of the work falls on your hands. And I remember talking to these kids, they were about 13 years old, predominantly 13. And they were saying, that's kind of true, because I didn't like Black people. This is what, for example, one of them was like, I didn't like Black people because I was scared, because that's how my family raised me. They said, if you see someone that's Black walking across the street, stay away from them because they could hurt you. So imagine being told that at a super young age, and this is the programming that's being fed. But then only for you to realize, let me question that. Is that even true? That is the work. And then realizing, having an epiphany that, oh my gosh, this is not even cool. And like one girl, when I was talking to her, she was like, wow, does that mean we have to overcompensate as white people because our ancestors did so much? And I was kind of like, wow, bingo. And it was interesting because this conversation that started off as racism led into somebody crying because they were coming out. They were like, I'm tired of going to restaurants and seeing people be treated unfairly because they're LGBTQIA. And that was this person's coming out story for the first time. And so a lot of it does correlate, because a lot of it stems from judgment and false judgment. And, oh, I think I'm better than you because of this, and you're better, and you're not better than me. Like, where is this insecurity coming from that you feel so obligated to prove a point that one race is better than the other or not? Our societies have been built on colonialism and racism, a lot of it. And it's interesting because we're like the only species, the only animal that's like, oh no, my kind is better than your kind. And like, what? So anyway, I don't want to get too into all that, but there's definitely a pivotal time at our hands right now where we are being asked, what are you going to do? How are you going to make a difference? And I think it's so important to really take heed to this time if you're a millennial, even the Gen X's, if you're Gen X, millennial, Gen Z, because our children, the children are the future. The minds of the children will play out what the future holds, and it cannot keep continuing based on what our great grandparents did and how they lived. Where is the world peace? How do we get there? How do we love ourselves enough to love one another? And a lot of this work is not everybody's work. And if you are a Caucasian person watching me, a lot of this is your work to do. And Black folks, we have our own work to do in learning how to come together, and learning how to love ourselves, and learning how to not let our past dictate our future, in learning to fight for our rights because we are worthy. And we live in a system where it told us otherwise. A lot of this may stem from personal experiences, from personal rebellion, from personal empathy that you personally feel from seeing others being othered. There's a lot at hand right now, and there's a lot of opportunity in diversity, in coming together, in peeling back that layer that has been masked in our entire society. There are people unexplainably dying left and right in this country of America right now, and it is being swept under the rug. If it isn't for the George Floyds, Nolan Wells, Tamla, I think her last name is Harford. Forgive me if that's not the right pronunciation of her last name. You know, Brianna. There's so many names, and it's like, when is it going to be enough? When? I saw a really impactful video yesterday of a white guy, and he's like, yeah, the girl that was just found hung from a tree. I don't know if I can say that on here, but it's the truth. was his cousin. This is a white man, fully white. His cousin, not sure if it was a step cousin, however it goes, but his cousin, that was her. I'm going to pull a few cards, but I will leave you with, if you have family members, if you have elderly in your family, talk to them and tell them racism isn't cool. If you got young folks in your family, even more so, talk to them and let them know racism isn't cool. That's if you're white. And if you're black, teach them that they're beautiful and that they're worthy and that they're not less than. I pray and hope that one day we are not riddled by privileges and statuses and race, because it's becoming no longer sustainable. I think too many people are starting to wake up, and it makes sense because as we shift into a higher frequency, as we move from 3D to 5D, we are moving to a new level, a new frequency, a new energy. But in order to get there, there's work to do. I'm going to ask a few questions to the cards. What is humanity being asked to understand right now? Spirit, what is humanity being asked to understand right now? Wow, the world. I cannot make this up. The world card? What? What? This does also speak about a cycle coming to a close. Okay. It looks kind of foggy on the screen. Hold on. I don't know how to clean it. It's just going to be a foggy video. It is what it is. Because I just saw the card was a little foggy. What is humanity being asked to learn right now? This is heavy energy, y'all. 5 of Cups. Crying over spilled milk. So we are being asked to look at how our wrongs have not served us. We are shifting from patriarchy to from a patriarchal energy to an Aquarius energy, to a more fluid energy, to a more feminine energy. So it makes sense. One more from this deck, Spirit. With the World card, I'm definitely getting, I'll tell you in a second. Okay. One more from this deck, Spirit. What is humanity being asked to understand right now? Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. With the World card, I typically read this card as don't just focus on one thing, one strength as you move forward. Focus on all the strengths, the beauty, the smarts, the intelligence, the strength, okay? A lot of that is depicted here in this card. So we are going to have to focus on a lot of this. Humanity is going to have to really get in our toolkit and focus and rely on all of the strengths that we can pull together, all of our intelligence, all of the good that has come from us coming together. There's something about suppressing the hate. All of this anger is kind of letting a lot of hate from our ancestors boil up, and that is needing to be suppressed. Now, I will say with this 5 of Cups, it does talk about guilt. It talks about grief, crying over spilled milk. But in this card, he's crying over the 3 cups that spilled, but he doesn't see there's still 2 cups standing, that there's still an opportunity here. So you're being asked to feel what you need to feel about the pain, the suffering. Like I said in my last video, a lot of this that's happening, it's collective trauma. Doesn't matter what side you're on, it's trauma. There's a need not to blame. There's a need not to victim shame. There's a need to take this cloak off, take the lesson and learn from it. See what the silver lining is. See the opportunity for change at hand right now. There is a massive opportunity for change in the world right now. So again, the question is, what are you going to do? There's a lot of anxiety, okay? And I don't think this is bad because I'm asking, what is humanity being asked to understand right now? There could be a need to rack through our brains and really think about it, really strategize, really overanalyze in order to get to more solution-based oriented options, right? And the final card from this deck is Slow and Steady Wins the Race. Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving card, but it does speak about long-term success. So it is somebody that's building brick by brick by brick. But Rome was not built overnight. This is something that will last long term. Hold on, let me clean this mirror. Okay. Anything else from this deck, Spirit? One card from here. What is humanity being asked to understand right now? Also, wow, the world again in this deck. Oh my gosh. This is a world problem and also an opportunity for world solution, world healing, and world peace. This is. This is something of the world. It's not just in America. America might be the one where the fire is hitting a lot. But as I heard someone say yesterday, if you're Black, you're going to be treated, yes, it's different. If you're African and this and that, your experiences might be different, but in the world, you're going to be treated like you're Black, wherever you are in the world. This to me is giving world peace, world healing, an overall world solution. Now, the card that did come out is divine guidance. I was going to say that no matter, it's interesting that the world came out, because what I was going to say is no matter what country you're from, what country you live in, what countries you have lived in, your experience is your own experience. Your ancestors' experiences are their own experiences. How are you going to change that? Not just for you, but for your future generations. Follow your divine guidance. A lot of you are being guided in your own way. Maybe it's to start a community center. Maybe it's to start a wellness program, a wellness business. Maybe it's to start podcasting, be a musician. There's so many ways you can cultivate change. But if you do nothing, then nothing changes. Nothing changes. And a lot of y'all watching this, if this video found you, a lot of you watching this, your ancestors have led you to watch this. A lot of you are the Black sheep in your family. And a lot of you are the chosen ones in your family. Because you feel something inside of you that's pushing you to make a change, something that's pushing you to make an impact. The next question I'm going to ask is, what energy are we moving through right now? Let me put these cards back, actually. Celebration. Okay. Okay, Spirit. Something about celebration. What energy are we moving through? I do feel like globally there have been a lot of world celebrations, Independence Days, etc. We're moving through the feminine. There's a feminine energy that we're moving through of feelings and compassion. And a lot of us are feeling our feels. We're in our feels. You know, whatever you're feeling, there's feelings that are coming up in a way that's really, really good. And I will say there's a lot of birthing opportunities. Something new is afoot. Also, there is opportunity for partnerships. And I do feel like this is mending between different races, seeing eye to eye, seeing, well, you know, and maybe it's that, okay, you're white and you have a niece that's mixed. And you're like, boy, do I think about it differently now. And it doesn't have to be all that, but maybe you had somebody that was of color that was very impactful in your life. You could be feeling stuck, like, oh, well, what can I do? What change can I make? What can little on me do? One more from this deck, Spirit. What energy are we moving through right now? We are moving from feeling stuck. We are also moving towards a more higher frequency energy, to a more intuitive energy. Right now, the Nolan Wells case, and I don't want to talk about it too much. Watch the other video if you want to hear more about that. That case really cannot be pushed under the rug, because too many people are tapped in. Too many people are intuitively aware. Too many people's frequency has raised collectively that you can't just push things under the rug. You can't just play in people's faces and think, oh, they're not going to know. This is not 20 years ago. We're living in a different time right now. And it's finally here, is what I'm hearing Spirit say. It's finally here. There's an opportunity at hand. It's a beautiful gift from the universe to make a change for a new world, for a brighter day, for a new way of doing things. Scratch everything from the way it's been done before and create a new way of doing things. That can mean policy changes, changes in diplomacy, changes in structures, official structures, and changes collectively. I think what I'm getting is a lot of the changes is going to come from the people, the masses, the general public, speaking out, acting out, doing things, or even coming together, peace agreements, peaceful protests. If it's not literal protests, peaceful acts. Some people are not interested. They don't want to go through this. They're not interested. A lot of the people that are not interested are living heavily as their ancestors have lived. It's like the same thing, just repeating itself in a different format, in different clothes. I'm going to wrap this video up. Just one last question, okay? What can we each... Sorry, I cannot read my handwriting sometimes. Okay, what can we each contribute? Let me go here. Spirit, what can we each contribute to helping humanity rise into a better place? New ideas. Let your new ideas come forth. Don't dismiss your new ideas right now. What can we each contribute to a better humanity, to a new world? Prayer. I tried to make it less fuzzy, but it's still blurry tonight. It is what it is. Prayer. White magic is what this says. So manifesting, praying, visualizing world peace, contributing, doing your part, living in light, being kind to one another. That goes a lot farther than we might think. One more, Spirit. All these cards are positive. What can... Oh, this card just fell. Okay. We will be faced with resistance. There will be people faced with resistance. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Chinese, Spanish, whatever. There will be resistance. Okay. Not everybody is trying to make positive change in the world. Not everybody wants to change the dynamics of the past, of our history. Not everybody's in a high frequency. One more, Spirit. What can we each contribute? Put your finances together. Put your stability together. And this is not only about finances, although it looks like it. This is a very stable energy. It's long-term wealth. Wealth could be abundance. Abundance is not only money. There is a need to look within. Again, paying attention to the ideas you're getting. Look within. It's okay to analyze and strategize and really go within and see what can you do. But this does give me an energy of coming together, putting resources together, sticking together, allying together. Okay. So that was the message, y'all. This was a collective message. If you're new here, again, subscribe, like, check out my book, Believe in Your Soul. This is available on Amazon by Vanessa. Just put my first name, last name is super long. Also, if you want to book me for a one-on-one session, info's below for guidance readings. Also, the final thing I'll say is check out my brand, Sacred Ceramique, where I do make intentional handmade ceramics for your home. You can use them for personal rituals, home decor, mindfulness, slow mornings. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. Again, my name is Vanessa, and it was a pleasure to be here. Peace and love.